So it's the first day of the championship today. We're here and it's Friday afternoon, and we're going to go through week one's championship predictions. We're going to start on Friday with Blackburn versus Derby, and it's going to be a toughie. This one, I think Derby are certainly going to be wanting to prove they're good at this level, but I just don't think that they've got it in them. And Blackburn, well, let's face it. I don't think there's been much change from the end of last year, really. To not decent change. They're going to start, I think, the same as they finished, which is pretty dreadfully. I can't see a goal. I'm going to go with Blackburn 0, Derby County 0. Staying with tonight, I'm going to go with Preston versus Sheffield United. Now, Preston usually start very well, and they're usually a really solid mid-table team. Not made too many changes, but I think Sheffield United, they've made a few ins and outs. I'm not quite certain that they've made brilliant acquisitions. It could be closer than you think, this one. I think with them being so poor in the Premier League, it could even be a draw, but I'm going to go just by a gnat's hair. Preston 1, Sheffield United 2. And then we move on into Saturday's fixtures. We pull up Saturday's fixtures, and we start with Cardiff City versus Sunderland. Now, Cardiff City versus Sunderland is quite a difficult one to predict, because Sunderland have been pretty torrid in the second half of the season. New young manager, and is he going to be able to do it at this level? I'm not quite sure. The way they've set it up from the recruitment perspective wasn't welcoming to top level Premier and Championship managers. That's what it sounds like. That's why they couldn't get them in. Will it work? Will this system work? It works for other businesses, because that's what football clubs are. So it could work. It might not. But in this case, I'm going to go with Cardiff City 1, Sunderland 0. Staying there, we go to Hull City versus Bristol City. So battle of the cities here. Pretty long way to travel, Bristol. They can be quite up and down, and I'm not quite sure about them. But then Hull City can be there exactly the same. And the end of the season, just like that, they could have been in 6th place. All they needed to do was win 1 or 2 of those last 3 or 4 games, and they would have caught Norwich City up. They just didn't have that oomph. Looking at the transfers, and I think home, even with the home advantage, I'm going to go for Hull City 1, Bristol City 1. Now to the new boys. They're away at Leeds United. What a baptism of fire this is. Leeds United versus Portsmouth. I really can't. I can't see Leeds United losing on their first game at home in the Championship. That was a disappointing end to the season. They want to put that behind them and start with a bang, and I think they will do. I think it's going to be. I think Portsmouth will score. I think Portsmouth will have to score just to keep their fans happy and saying, yeah, we are going to do it. This happens to be the hardest game of the season first. Unfortunate, isn't it? Leeds United 3, Portsmouth 1. Now we go to Borough. We've got Middlesbrough versus Swansea, and I really can't say much about it. I think they're both pretty good teams. They're both really strong, similar type teams in my mind. I just think that at home Borough will have the edge. I just think it's a case of, will Swansea score? On this case, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say Borough 2, Swansea 0. We go to Millwall, and I'm going to predict here. I'm going to be predicting that Millwall bring back this idea that the Den is a place of horror. You can I think they're going to make this a fortress Millwall. I really do. I think the Den is going to be a place where you just don't want to go to the Lions Den. It's going to be one hell of a place to be travelling. And Watford, they've never been free firing and free scoring in the Championship, not for a long time. So I'm going to go a slight win here. I'm going to go Millwall 1, Watford 0. New Boys Oxford are next. Oxford are at home to Norwich. Now, Oxford will want to try and make sure at least they don't let a goal in. And I think that's what they'll probably try and do here, because Norwich City can get flustered. If you block them enough, they can get flustered. And Oxford's managers will know this. They'll know, the management will know that if you block Norwich enough, they get flustered, they won't score. Rotherham used to do it against them even last year, and it was successful. They could grab a 0-0 draw. However, I think it's going to be Oxford 0, Norwich 2. Now we go to QPR versus West Brom. I think QPR versus West Brom will be quite a difficult game. We've got two teams, one that finished absolutely phenomenally last season, QPR. West Brom, who played excellently all the way through, are just perhaps dropped off towards the end. I think it's going to be a really tough game. I'm going to go QPR 2, West Brom 2. We got Stoke City. Stoke City, the balance of the team's not that good at the minute. I'm not. I think that the defence and I think the goalkeeping options they got absolutely brilliant, but I'm not quite sure how they're going to get the ball in the net, and I think that's going to be a difficulty. Coventry, on the other hand, have the abilities to be a top 6 team. They really are a strong outfit, and they are playing well. And I think that the pre-season is a sign that they can play quite good football together. But I think that Stoke City, going away to Stoke City, I think there's going to be. I would usually go for Coventry to win this one, but I think I'm going to go for a curveball. I'm going to go for Stoke City 2, Coventry 1. Then we go to Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday are at home, and they finished the season absolutely amazingly, didn't they? Really, who would have bet that Sheffield Wednesday would be completely clear of the bottom? And Plymouth did a similar trip to Rotherham the year before, where they just stayed up by the skin of the teeth on the last day. I think there may be a bit of a learning period for Sheffield Wednesday in this year. I think that I just think they're a little bit too confident, and I think that they may just be a little bit too overconfident this time. They from what I can sense from the Sheffield Wednesday fans, they're just expecting to walk over Plymouth this time and walk over the bottom half of the league without any problem. And for that reason, I'm going to say Sheffield Wednesday 2, Plymouth 2. And then we go to our last game, which I think is on a Monday, and it's Luton versus Burnley. What a game this is going to be. Now, I think as much as I love Luton to bits, will the new Burnley boss be able to get that team singing? It was a great loss of absolutely phenomenal manager, wasn't it? But company was obviously going to go at some point. I'm going to go Luton Town 0, Burnley 1. They're my predictions for this coming weekend, because it's obviously Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And I look forward to seeing you. I'm working tonight, so I won't be on tonight, but I will be live, I hope, straight after work in the morning. So on Saturday morning, we will be turning on the live stream, and we will be doing watch-alongs on the Championship and League One. See you there.